Hi, it's Deb Albert with Lighthouse Fitness Project. I'd like to talk to you and continue my talk about divorce. And tonight I want to talk about a few things that might lead to divorce. Um, and I think there are about 6 of them. There are many complicated reasons that might lead to divorce, and there are many things that could kill a relationship. Granted, when you are in a marriage, you should try to resolve your differences. Divorce isn't ideal for families. No one goes into marriage hoping for divorce. But let's move past that initial dawning on your brain and talk about a few of the reasons. Let's just say that you've already decided, you might be headed that way. One of the most surprising reasons to me that I've come across in my research was compromise. Yeah, compromise. You might think, or you might say that isn't marriage always pretty much a compromise? Well, apparently as you move through married life, always coming up a little short, always giving in and settling for less than you think you deserve, it can kill a relationship. To me, it seems selfish, but I think it's truth. Inability to resolve conflicts is a leading cause of divorce. Another relationship killer is competitiveness in a marriage. If you are always trying to win over your spouse, you may be headed for trouble. The trouble with it is this: you can't win over your spouse. If you are right, it means I'm wrong. So compromise comes in, and we know where that leads. Complaining is a third relationship killer. If you complain about everything without looking for a solution and talking about what works instead of what doesn't, then you're headed for a slippery slope. Complaining makes one side shut down, and when that happens, or if you choose nagging to try to communicate, you don't get heard. You get shut out. Loss of individual identity can be a major cause for divorce. Everyone has the need for self-fulfillment, and you had a life before marriage, and you need to maintain your self-worth in your marriage. If you can't tell where you leave off and your spouse begins, you're in trouble. Financial trouble can be a major cause for trouble in marriages. If there isn't enough money, life gets hard. If you have a different idea on where your joint money should be spent, it can cause a rift. And too much money can be as bad as too little. I always say that I'd like the chance to experience that one. Lastly, lack of simple communication can be the biggest drain on a marriage. Talking becomes hard and goes away, and if you aren't talking, you probably aren't having sex either. When intimacy disappears, it's hard to get back. Counseling might help. I try it. So those are some of the things that can lead to divorce. There are many others that we haven't even touched on. For folks over 50, the baby boomers, the divorce rate has more than doubled in the last few years. This can be attributed to a few things. One, there's very little social stigma about divorcing over the age of 50 now. It's all been eradicated and accepted, more or less. Many people over 50 are empty nesters, or at least close to having the kids out of the house. It's arguably easier to move on and out when children aren't directly involved any longer. People over 50 can see retirement on the horizon and may start looking for things to fulfill themselves outside of marriage, bucket list as it were. And if both parties have careers, money isn't paramount in the decision in every case. Those are a few of the reasons I wanted to talk about tonight. I'll be continuing this series, and I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for listening.